The pen scratched across paper. Sophia's hand trembled as she signed her name on the divorce papers, right there beside Nathan's hospital bed. His monitors beeped weakly, his eyes half closed from medication. Tracked her movement with the confusion of a man who couldn't understand what was happening. "Sophia, wait!" His voice was barely a whisper. "I need to tell you something. We're gonna be..." She leaned down, kissed his forehead, one last time. Then she walked out holding Victor's hand. What she didn't know, 3 hours earlier, Nathan had closed a $5 billion deal. The same accident that left him paralyzed had happened on his way home to celebrate. The inheritance clause in his family's trust had just activated, and the man she abandoned for his best friend was about to become one of the richest men in America. But here's the real question. Would you have stayed? Could you have walked away from someone you promised forever to, just because the road got hard? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're hooked already, hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is about to get wild. Asterisk, asterisk. You're probably wondering, how does a woman leave a man she loved at his lowest point? How does a best friend betray someone who trusted him completely? Stick around, because the signs were there long before that hospital room. And what Nathan does when he finds out, it's the kind of payback that'll make your jaw drop. Have you ever trusted someone completely, only to realize they were playing you the whole time? Ever given your all to someone who gave you half? This is that story. And before it's over, you'll see betrayal, revenge, and a twist so brutal it'll leave you speechless. Now let's rewind. Let me show you how it all started. Nathan Brooks wasn't born rich. He built himself from nothing. Worked doubles at a warehouse while taking night classes, slept 4 hours a night for years, survived on ramen and determination. By 32, he ran his own tech consulting firm. Small but growing, respected, and he had Sophia. Sophia Miller had been his college sweetheart. They met in a coffee shop during finals week. She spilled her latte on his economics textbook, apologized 1,000 times, then stayed to help him rewrite his notes. 3 months later, they were inseparable. 5 years after that, married, she was a nurse, practical, grounded, the kind of woman who could handle a crisis without flinching. At least, that's what Nathan thought. Their life wasn't fancy. A modest 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Chicago. Date nights were pizza and movie marathons. Savings were tight, but they were happy. Or so Nathan believed. 3 days before everything fell apart, Nathan sat in a glass conference room on the 40th floor of the Kemper Tower. Across from him, David Wu, CEO of TechCore Industries, and his team of lawyers. Mr. Brooks, who said, sliding the contract forward, $5 billion over 10 years. Exclusive partnership. Your software becomes our infrastructure backbone. Nathan's heart hammered. This was it. The deal he'd been chasing for 2 years. He signed. Wu shook his hand. Congratulations. You just became a very wealthy man. But there was more. Nathan's lawyer, Gene Harper, waited until they were alone in the elevator. There's something else, Nathan. Your grandfather's trust. What about it? The inheritance clause activated when you hit this revenue threshold. As of today, you have access to full estate. We're talking another $1 billion in assets, real estate, stocks, offshore accounts. Nathan stared at him. You're kidding. I'm not. Congratulations. You're a billionaire. Nathan couldn't breathe. His grandfather, a man he barely remembered, had been a silent investor in early oil ventures, properties across 3 states. The family had always known there was money, but the trust had conditions. Conditions Nathan had just met. He pulled out his phone, called Sophia. She answered on the second ring. Hey, babe. Sophia. He couldn't stop grinning. I need you to sit down. What's going on? I can't tell you over the phone, but pack something nice. We're going out tonight. Somewhere fancy. Life just changed, sophomore. I'm talking changed. She laughed. You're scaring me. Good changed or bad changed? The best kind. Okay, I'll be ready. I love you. I love you too. He hung up, heart racing. Tonight, he'd tell her everything. They'd celebrate. Maybe finally buy that house she'd been eyeing in Lincoln Park. But Nathan had no idea that while he was signing the deal that would make him a billionaire, Sophia was standing in their kitchen, laughing at a text message from Victor. Sophia set her phone down and stirred the pasta sauce. She was making Nathan's favorite garlic shrimp linguine. He'd sounded so excited on the phone. Whatever news he had, it was big. The doorbell rang. She wiped her hands and opened the door. Victor Kane stood there, hands in his pockets, that same easy smile he always wore. Tall, athletic, effortlessly charming. Nathan's best friend since high school. The guy who was always around for game nights, barbecues, last-minute favors. "Hey, sophomore." "Victor." "What's up?" He held up a charging cable. "Left this here last poker night. Figured I'd grab it before Nate gets home." "Come in. He's actually on his way. Should be here in an hour." Victor stepped inside. He moved through their apartment like he lived there. Comfortable. Too comfortable. Sophia returned to the stove. Victor leaned against the counter beside her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. "Smells amazing," he said. "Nathan's favorite." Victor smiled. "Lucky guy." There was a pause, the kind that stretched a second too long. "You remember that night in college?" Victor asked. "The bonfire party? When Nate got so drunk he fell asleep in the library." Sophia laughed despite herself. "And we had to carry him back to the dorm. You laughed so hard you cried. We thought he was going to get expelled." Their eyes met, held. Sophia's phone buzzed. She grabbed it, breaking the moment. A text from Victor. But he was standing right in front of her. She glanced at the screen. Asterisk. "Still thinking about tonight?" Asterisk. Her breath caught. She looked up at Victor. He was watching her, expression unreadable. She deleted the text. Fast. "I should finish dinner," she said, voice tight. Victor pushed off the counter. "Yeah, I'll get out of your hair." But as he walked to the door, he stopped. "Look back." "Sophia?" "Yeah. If things ever get complicated, I'm here. You know that, right?" She didn't answer. He left. Sophia stood alone in the kitchen, heart pounding. She told herself it meant nothing. Victor was just being Victor, flirty, inappropriate, but harmless. Except deep down, she knew it wasn't harmless. Not anymore. Nathan drove home with the windows down, music blasting. He couldn't stop smiling. In his mind, he was already planning it. The look on Sophia's face when he told her, the life they could finally build. He didn't see the truck. The driver ran a red light, slammed into Nathan's sedan at 60 miles per hour. The world exploded into glass and metal and pain. Nathan's car spun twice, flipped, and crashed into a light pole. Everything went black. Sophia got the call at 7:47 p.m. "Mrs. Brooks, this is Chicago General. Your husband's been in an accident. You need to come now." She dropped the phone, grabbed her keys. Her hands shook so badly she couldn't get them in the ignition. She called Victor. He answered immediately. "Soph? What's wrong?" "Nathan, there was an accident. I can't." "I'm on my way. Don't move." Victor arrived in 8 minutes. Drove her to the hospital, going 20 over the speed limit the whole way. Sophia sat in the passenger seat, hands pressed to her mouth, silent tears streaming. At the hospital, they were taken to a private waiting room. Dr. Patel, a tall woman with kind eyes, sat across from them. "Mrs. Brooks, your husband suffered severe trauma to his spine. Specifically, his T12 and L1 vertebrae are fractured. We've stabilized him, but the damage is significant. Will he be okay?" Dr. Patel hesitated. "There's an experimental procedure, targeted spinal fusion combined with stem cell therapy. It's being pioneered in Germany. If successful, he could regain full mobility. Then do it. The cost is $4 million, and it's not covered by insurance." Sophia's world tilted. $4 million? "I'm sorry. Without it, the prognosis is permanent paralysis from the waist down." Sophia couldn't speak. For $1 million, they had maybe $30,000 in savings. Their mortgage, her nursing salary. Nathan's business was doing well, but not $4 million well. Victor's hand found hers under the table. She didn't pull away. Sophia walked into Nathan's room an hour later. He looked so small. Monitors beeped. Fur lines snaked across his arms. His eyes fluttered open when she sat beside him. "Soph, I'm here." She took his hand. It was cold. "I need to tell you." His words slurred. "The deal. I closed it. Don't talk. Just rest." "No, you don't understand. We're going to be..." His eyes closed. The medication pulled him under. Sophia sat there, staring at his unconscious face. $4 million. She kept hearing the number in her head. Victor appeared in the doorway. "Sophomore, let's get coffee." She followed him like a ghost. Over the next 3 days, Victor stayed close. Too close. He brought Sophia meals, drove her to and from the hospital, sat with her during the long, terrible hours when Nathan was unconscious or too medicated to speak. And slowly, carefully, he planted seeds. $4 million, he said on day 2, sitting beside her in the hospital cafeteria. "Soph, that's impossible. We'll figure it out." "How?" "You'd have to sell everything. Even then, you're looking at debt for the rest of your life." "He's my husband." Victor leaned closer. "I know, and I'm not saying you shouldn't try. But Soph, even if you get the money, even if the surgery works, he's going to need years of care, physical therapy, modifications to the house. You'd be his nurse and his wife. Is that the life you want?" Sophia said nothing. "You're 28 years old," Victor continued. "You have your whole life ahead of you. Nathan would want you to be happy." "Stop. I'm just saying." "Victor, stop." But the words were already inside her head, burrowing deep. On the 5th day, Sophia sat alone in Nathan's hospital room. His lawyer had called that morning. Something about assets and paperwork. She'd been too overwhelmed to listen. Nathan stirred, looked at her. "Sophia, I'm here. Did they tell you about the money?" She frowned. "What money?" "The deal. I closed $5 billion. She thought he was confused, hallucinating from the medication. "It's okay, baby. Just rest." "No, listen." He tried to sit up, winced. "I'm trying to tell you. We're going to be okay. The trust, everything." But his words were garbled, desperate, and Sophia, drowning in fear and exhaustion, heard only nonsense. Victor appeared at the door with coffee. Sophia stood, walked into the hallway. "I can't do this," she whispered. Victor set the coffee down. "Soph, he's never going to walk again. We're going to lose everything. I'm going to spend the rest of my life taking care of him, and it's never going to be enough." "Then don't." She looked at him. Victor stepped closer. "I know how this sounds. But Soph, you didn't sign up for this. Nobody would blame you. I took vows. You took vows to a man who could stand beside you. This isn't the same Nathan. This is something else." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Victor cupped her face. "You deserve to be happy. You deserve a life. And I don't." But she didn't pull away. That night, Victor brought divorce papers to her apartment. "I had a lawyer draw them up," he said quietly, "just in case." Sophia stared at the documents. "You don't have to do anything right now," Victor added. "But if you decide it's here." She didn't sleep that night. Day 7. Sophia walked into Nathan's hospital room with the papers folded in her purse. Victor waited in the hall. Nathan was awake. Barely. "Hey," he said softly. "Hey." She sat beside him, pulled out the papers. Her hands trembled. Nathan's eyes focused on the documents. "Soph, what is that?" "I'm so sorry." "Wait." His voice cracked. "Please, just wait. I need to tell you something. We're going to be okay. I promise." Sophia's pen hovered over the signature line. Flashbacks hit her like waves. Their wedding day. His smile when he kissed her at the altar. The way he'd held her through her mother's funeral. Every small, perfect moment they'd built together. A tear fell onto the paper. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. Nathan reached for her hand. Sophia, please. Victor stepped into the room, placed a hand on Sophia's shoulder. She signed, fast, before she could change her mind. Then she leaned down, kissed Nathan's forehead one last time. I'm sorry I'm not strong enough, she whispered against the skin, and she walked out. Nathan lay there, watching her go. The monitors beeped, and for the first time in his life, Nathan Brooks understood what it meant to be truly alone. The room felt colder after Sophia left. Nathan stared at the ceiling. The divorce paper sat on the table beside his bed, her signature still wet. His chest ached, not from the accident, but from something deeper, something that made the physical pain feel like nothing. Victor's cologne still lingered in the air. Nathan closed his eyes. He'd tried to tell her about the deal, about the inheritance, about the fact that money wasn't a problem, would never be a problem again. But the words wouldn't come out right. The medication made everything fuzzy. And Sophia, she hadn't listened. Or maybe she hadn't wanted to. The door opened. Gene Harper, his lawyer, walked in carrying a briefcase. Nathan, how are you feeling? Like my wife just divorced me. Gene winced. I heard. I'm sorry. Did you talk to her? About the money? I tried. She wouldn't take my calls. I even went to your apartment. She wasn't there. Nathan's jaw tightened. Where is she? Gene hesitated. According to the building manager, she moved out yesterday with Victor Kane. The words hit like a second crash. They're living together? I'm sorry, Nathan. Nathan said nothing. His hands gripped the sheets so hard his knuckles turned white. Nathan, Gene continued carefully. The $4 million treatment. Dr. Patel called. They can start in 2 weeks if you're ready. I can wire the funds today. Do it. And the rest? The inheritance? Their decisions. Later. Right now, just get me walking again. Gene nodded. I'll handle it. After he left, Nathan lay alone in the silence. Something inside him hardened, calcified, like bone forming over a wound. He'd loved Sophia with everything he had, trusted Victor like a brother. They'd taken that love and crushed it under their shoes on the way out the door. But they'd made one mistake. They'd left him alive. Sophia moved into Victor's downtown loft 3 days after signing the papers. It was beautiful, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, a view of the Chicago River that would have made Nathan's jaw drop. Victor had money. His family owned a commercial real estate company, Kane Properties. Not billionaire money, but comfortable, very comfortable. Make yourself at home, Victor said, setting her suitcase down. Sophia walked to the window, looked out at the city. She felt numb. You okay? Victor came up behind her, put his hands on her shoulders. I don't know what I am. You did the right thing. Did I? Soft. He was never going to walk again. You would have spent the rest of your life. I know what I would have spent. Her voice came out sharper than she intended. I was there, Victor. I know what I did. Victor turned her around, looked into her eyes. Then stop punishing yourself. You chose life. Your life. There's nothing wrong with that. He kissed her. Sophia kissed him back. But when she closed her eyes, she saw Nathan's face. The way he'd looked at her when she signed the papers. Like she'd killed him. The first week was a blur. Victor took her to expensive restaurants. Bought her clothes. They went to a rooftop bar where his friends congratulated them on finally getting together. Sophia smiled, laughed at the right moments, played the part. But at night, alone in Victor's bed, she couldn't sleep. She'd scroll through old photos on her phone. Her and Nathan at their wedding. A trip to Michigan. Nathan asleep on the couch with their cat, Mr. Whiskers, on his chest. She deleted most of them, but not all. One night, Victor caught her looking. You need to let him go, he said quietly. I'm trying. No, you're torturing yourself. He took the phone from her hands. Started deleting photos. Victor, stop. This isn't healthy. He's gone. Sophomore. You made your choice. Now live with it. She watched her memories disappear one by one and said nothing. The surgery happened 2 weeks later. Dr. Patel and a team of specialists flew in from Berlin. The procedure took 14 hours. Nathan was unconscious for 3 days after. When he woke, his legs felt like fire. "That's good," Dr. Patel said. "Pain means nerve function. You're going to hurt for a while, Nathan, but you're going to walk." Physical therapy started immediately. It was hell. Every morning. Nathan worked with a therapist named Marcus, a former Marine who didn't believe in mercy. Again, Marcus barked. Nathan, holding parallel bars, dragged himself forward. His legs shook. Sweat poured down his face. "I can't." "You can." Again. Nathan collapsed. Marcus crouched beside him. "You want to quit? Fine. Quit. Crawl back to that bed and give up, or get up and prove them wrong." Nathan looked up at him. "Prove who wrong?" "Everyone who thought you were done." Nathan thought of Sophia, of Victor. He got up. 3 months into recovery, Nathan could walk with a cane. 6 months in, he ditched the cane. His body grew stronger, leaner. The pain became background noise. But something else grew too. Jean visited regularly. They'd sit in Nathan's private recovery suite, a penthouse Jean had secured using the inheritance funds, and talk business. "The $5 billion is fully accessible," Jean said one afternoon. "We've diversified. Real estate, stocks, venture capital. You're generating about $15 million a month in passive income." Nathan stared out at the city. "What about Victor's company? Kane Properties?" Jean raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "I want to know everything about it. Financial records, debts, partnerships, everything." "Nathan." "Do it." Jean nodded slowly. "All right, give me 2 weeks." But Nathan wasn't just investigating Victor's company. Late at night, he'd scroll through Sophia's social media. She'd made her accounts private, but Nathan had ways. He saw the photos. Sophia and Victor in Napa Valley, on a yacht, at some charity gala, her hand on his chest, both of them laughing. Nathan zoomed in on one photo. Sophia wore a necklace he didn't recognize. Expensive. New. In another photo, she was drunk, leaning on Victor, eyes closed, smile wide. She looked happy. That hurt worse than the betrayal. Jean returned 2 weeks later with a folder. "Nathan, you need to see this." He spread photos and documents across the table. Text messages between Sophia and Victor, dated months before the accident. "Victor, can't stop thinking about last night." "Sophia, we can't keep doing this." "Victor, then leave him." "Sophia, it's not that simple." "Victor, it is. You're just scared." Nathan's hands clenched. "There's more," Jean said quietly. He showed Nathan bank records, hotel receipts, security footage from a downtown hotel showing Sophia and Victor entering a room together. The date, 2 months before the crash. They were having an affair, Nathan said flatly, for at least 6 months, maybe longer. Nathan sat back. Pieces clicked into place. Victor's frequent visits, inside jokes, the way Sophia sometimes smelled different, the late shifts she claimed were mandatory. She hadn't left him because of the accident. She'd been planning to leave all along. The accident just gave her an excuse. "Nathan," Jean said carefully, "what do you want to do?" Nathan looked at him. "I want them destroyed." Nathan spent the next 6 months preparing. He bought a mansion in Lake Forest, 20,000 square feet, wine cellar, home theater, indoor pool, the kind of house Sophia had once dreamed about. He hired a private investigator named Rachel Chun, former FBI, the best. "I need everything," Nathan told her. "Financial records, communications, movements, weaknesses, everything." Rachel delivered. Victor's company was over-leveraged. He'd made risky investments in commercial properties that were underwater. He was surviving on credit and his family name. Nathan smiled. He started buying Victor's debt, quietly, through shell companies and intermediaries. Within 4 months, Nathan owned 60% of Kane Properties obligations. Then he called them due. Victor got the letter on a Tuesday morning. He was having coffee in his office when his CFO burst in, face white. "Victor, we have a problem." "What?" "Our creditors. They're calling in our loans." "All of them?" Simultaneously. Victor froze. "That's not possible." "It's happening. We have 30 days to pay $47 million, or they're seizing assets." "Who bought the debt?" "We don't know. It's buried under layers of LLCs. Victor's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. "Hello." "Hello, Victor." Victor's blood went cold. "Nathan?" Surprise. "I'm walking again. Actually, I'm doing better than walking. I'm thriving. But, you know what's funny? You're not. In fact, you're about to lose everything." "Nathan, listen." "I've been listening for 9 months, Victor. I listened to Sophia tell me she loved me while you were sleeping with her behind my back. I listened to you feed her poison in that hospital. I listened to you take the life I built and pretend it was yours. It wasn't like that. You have 30 days. Find $47 million, or Kane Properties is gone. Oh, and Victor, this is just the beginning." Nathan hung up. Victor stood there, phone in his hand, feeling his world collapse. Sophia noticed a change immediately. Victor became distant, stressed. He stopped taking her to restaurants, stopped buying her things. "What's going on?" she asked one night. "Nothing." "Victor, I said it's nothing." He snapped, then softened. "Sorry, work stuff. It'll be fine." But it wasn't fine. Sophia started noticing other things. Bills piling up. Victor on the phone at odd hours, voice tight. The way he flinched when his phone rang. One night, she found him drinking alone in the dark. "Victor, talk to me." He looked at her, really looked at her. "Do you ever regret it?" "Regret what?" "Nathan." Sophia's stomach dropped. "Why are you asking me that?" "Just answer." She hesitated. "Sometimes." "Me too." "What's happening?" Victor took a long drink. "Nathan's alive, sophomore, and he's coming for us." Nathan didn't stop with Victor's company. He went after everything. The loft Victor was renting? Nathan bought the building. Tripled the rent. Victor's car lease? Nathan bought out the lease company. Repossessed a Mercedes. Investments Victor had made? Nathan systematically tanked them through market manipulation and strategic buyouts. Within 8 months, Victor was broke. He sold the loft furniture to pay rent, moved them into a studio apartment in a bad neighborhood. Sophia watched the man she'd left Nathan for crumble into a paranoid, angry shell. "This is Nathan," Victor kept saying. "He's doing this. He's destroying me." "Nathan doesn't have money like this," Sophia argued. "He was barely making it before the accident. Then where's it coming from?" Sophia had no answer. 1 year after the divorce, Sophia received a letter, embossed stationery, expensive paper. "Dear Sophia, I'd like to invite you to dinner. You and Victor both. Saturday, 7 p.m. I have something I'd like to discuss. A car will pick you up. Sincerely, Nathan." An address in Lake Forest was printed at the bottom. Sophia's hand shook. "He knows," she whispered. Victor read the letter over her shoulder. "We're not going." "We have to." "Why?" "Because if we don't, it'll be worse." Saturday came. A black Mercedes picked them up. The driver said nothing. The drive took 40 minutes. When they pulled up to Nathan's estate, Sophia's breath caught. "Oh my God," she whispered. The house was obscene. Gates, fountain, circular driveway, marble steps leading to double doors. A butler opened the door. "Mr. Brooks is expecting you." They were led through rooms that looked like they belonged in a museum. Chandeliers, art, furniture that cost more than their old apartment. Nathan stood in the dining room. He looked different, stronger, harder. He wore a tailored suit that probably cost $10,000. His hair was styled. His posture was perfect. And he was standing. Sophia's knees almost gave out. "Nathan." "Hello, Sophia." "Victor." Victor said nothing. Nathan gestured to the table. "Please, sit." The table was set for 3. Crystal glasses, gold-rimmed plates. They sat. Nathan poured wine. I'm sure you're wondering why I invited you here. Nathan, Sophia started. Let me guess. You're sorry. You made a mistake. You were scared and confused, and you didn't mean to hurt me. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Nathan smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Save it. He pulled out a remote. Press a button. A screen descended from the ceiling. Photos appeared. Sophia and Victor. The hotel. Texts. Bank records. This, Nathan said, is you? 6 months before my accident. Having an affair. Sophia covered her mouth. Victor stood. Nathan, listen. Sit down. Something in Nathan's voice made Victor obey. You didn't leave me because of the accident. Nathan continued. You were already planning to leave. The accident just gave you an excuse. Made you look like less of a villain. Nathan, please. I tried to tell you. In that hospital room. I tried to tell you that we were going to be okay. That I closed the biggest deal of my life. That I'd inherited a fortune. But you wouldn't listen. You were too busy signing papers, so you could run off with him. Nathan's finger hovered over the remote. I have more. Video. Audio. Enough to ruin you both publicly. I could send this to your family. Sophia. Your co-workers. Post it online. Make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. Sophia sobbed. Nathan stared at the remote. Flashbacks hit him. Sophia's trembling hand. Her whispered apology. The kiss on his forehead. He lowered the remote. But I won't. Victor looked up, confused. I won't destroy you publicly, Nathan continued. That would make me like you. And I'm better than that. He set the remote down. Instead, I'll just take everything privately. Victor, your company is gone. I own it now. Your accounts are frozen. Your credit is ruined. You'll never work in real estate again. Victor's face went gray. Nathan turned to Sophia. And you'll live with the fact that you walked away from a man who would have given you the world. You chose poverty over loyalty, comfort over love, and now you get neither. He stood. Get out of my house. Sophia and Victor left in silence. The Mercedes drove them back to their studio apartment. They didn't speak, didn't touch. When they got inside, Victor poured a drink. This is your fault, he said quietly. What? You, if you just waited, if you'd listened to him. You told me to leave. You brought me the papers. Because you wanted to. Don't put this on me. They fought until dawn. Said things they couldn't take back. Victor moved out 3 days later. Sophia sat alone in the empty apartment, surrounded by boxes, and finally let herself fall apart. She tried calling Nathan. He'd blocked her number. She wrote him a letter, begging for forgiveness, explaining how scared she'd been, how sorry she was. Nathan received it. He burned it unread. Nathan stood on his balcony, watching the sun rise over Lake Michigan. He'd won. Victor was destroyed. Sophia was broken. Justice had been served. So why did he feel hollow? His phone rang. Emma, a woman he'd met at a charity event. Kind, smart, beautiful. Good morning, she said warmly. Morning. Still on for dinner tonight? Yeah, looking forward to it. He wasn't lying. Emma was great. They'd been seeing each other for a month. She made him laugh, made him feel almost normal. They met for dinner at a steakhouse. Emma talked about her day, reached across the table to take his hand. Nathan flinched, pulled back. Emma's smile faded. Did I do something wrong? No. Sorry. He stopped. It's not you. But it was. Not Emma specifically. Everyone. He couldn't let people close anymore. Couldn't trust. The moment someone reached for him, emotionally, physically, something inside him recoiled. Sophia and Victor had taken that from him. He'd won the war, but they'd left a wound that wouldn't heal. That night, Nathan stood on his balcony again. He'd donated $500 million to spinal injury research, another $300 million to programs for people recovering from betrayal and trauma. He'd rebuilt his life, made something good from the ashes, but alone in the dark. He could admit the truth. They'd broken something in him that money couldn't fix. He'd never trust completely again. Never love without wondering when it would end. Never open himself up without armor. He'd survived, thrived, become stronger, but he'd never be whole. Nathan walked toward his house as the sun began to rise. Victorious, wealthy, and forever scarred. 2 years later, Sophia worked a night shift at a clinic in a rough part of Chicago. She'd lost her job at the hospital after the affair became public knowledge. She lived alone. No photos on the walls. No one to call when the nights got long. She'd become exactly what she feared Nathan would be. Alone, struggling, invisible. Victor worked construction. His family had disowned him. His reputation was gone. He was broke, bitter, angry at the world. Nathan, meanwhile, had become a billionaire philanthropist. His face appeared in Forbes, Business Insider, the Wall Street Journal. He dated occasionally, never seriously. And every time someone got close, every time someone tried to love him, he remembered that hospital room and pulled away. So what do you think? Did Nathan do the right thing? Did Sophia and Victor get what they deserved? And can someone ever really come back from betrayal like that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if the story had you hooked. And subscribe because I've got more stories that'll make you feel every emotion imaginable. Remember, loyalty isn't just about staying when things are easy. It's about standing when everything falls apart. And if you walk away when someone needs you most, don't be surprised when karma catches up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.